How do you get photography clients to book you? This is a problem that most photographers actually struggle with. And as new technologies are developing, like phones and AI, and more jobs are being replaced, this problem is just getting bigger and worse. And especially if you have never been taught a proper system to actually get and find clients consistently. So today I want to teach you the exact system that has been working for me for over 5 years now, and that is bringing in clients into my photography business reliably and consistently. I have developed the system with the help of doing business research, with my own experiences just being a photographer in this job and working with clients, and by talking to other photographers and seeing how they work and what actually works for them in real life to get clients. So let's dive right in. The system has actually 4 simple steps that are super tactical, super easy for you to follow. And starting right off, I recommend for you to follow these steps either daily, weekly, or bi-weekly, depending on what level of experience you are in your photography business. So if you have no clients at all so far and you're just starting out, you haven't been earning any money with photography so far, I recommend for you to go through the steps of the system every single day. If you're kind of on level 2 and you have 1 up to 5 clients per month right now, then I recommend for you to follow the system either multiple times a week or at least once a week. Once a week if you want to keep up that flow of 1 to 5 clients per month. And if you want to grow your client base, then I would recommend for you to do it more often. So go through the steps 2 to 3 times per week. If you are on what I would consider level 3 and you have like consistently 5 to 10 clients as a photographer every month, and I would say that's a very small percentage of photographers out there that probably achieve this, then you can kind of see how the system fits in with your work already, and you can do it either bi-weekly or weekly, maybe once a week, depending on like how your client work falls and what office days you have established for yourself. All right, step number 1 is to create an offer that people actually want to buy. This sounds very simple and straightforward, but actually it is a little bit more complex than that. I often come across photographers either in real life or in my DMs, or they're emailing me or commenting on my YouTube videos. And basically, from what I gather, they are kind of sitting around and waiting for clients to book them. And then they're kind of complaining that nobody is booking them, clients aren't booking them, why aren't they booking them? But actually, they haven't done the core work, the absolute number 1 step that is required if you want to get photography clients. And the problem is they have nothing to sell. So the first step that you need to do if you want to attract photography clients is you need to have a product to sell. And I just call this a product. You can also call it an offer, or oftentimes in the photography business community, people call this a package. You need to craft something that is super specific and highly targeted and very clear, that you have basically kind of in your shop on display that people can just click on and buy. Let me give you an example of an offer that somebody could be crafting. So let's say we have photographer number 1, and this photographer is kind of focusing on portrait work, business portraits, and they're working in that kind of niche. So the package that they could offer would be personal branding photos for entrepreneurs. Just looking down on my laptop. 3 hours of studio shoot, 3 setups included, 15 final retouched photos, price tag $1,200. So that would be a very specific offer targeting a specific target group in a niche, saying exactly what you'll be offering and the price tag and what is included. Another example could be photographer number 2, and this photographer is in the food photography business. So their package could be something like high-end food photography for restaurants. 1-day shoot up to 8 hours, maximum 25 dishes, 50 final retouched photos, price tag $2,499. So what do these 2 have in common? They have a clear niche, a clear target group. They have very clearly defined deliverables, like the amount of photos, the amount of hours you will be shooting, and they have a price tag attached. So basically, in this step, while you're crafting this, maybe these examples can help you. You need to sit down with a piece of paper and ask yourself 3 fundamental questions. Question number 1, who will you be selling to? Question number 2, what exactly will you be selling? Think of the number of photos, the number of hours you will be working, and all the parameters of what you will be delivering to the client. And question number 3, at what price? Let me give you an example of what not to do and the type of offers I typically see on photographers' websites or their social media. It will say something like, portrait photographer open for shootings, send a DM. Or it will say, I love shooting fashion, lifestyle and travel, please contact for bookings. This tells people that you have nothing to sell. They don't know what type of service, what type of offer and package they can approach you for, because you're saying you'll be doing anything and everything. And some people think that going as broad as possible will attract more people, but actually the opposite is the case. The narrower you go, the more clear your offer is, the more people you will attract, because they will identify with that offer and know it's for them. Okay, Katja, you will say, but how do I know like which niche to pick and like what specific package people might be interested in? Like, how do I figure that out? And to that I say there's multiple approaches. So one approach is actually doing your research and kind of seeing what is out there. I have a couple of videos on my channel that you can check out about niches and different packages, and you can do your research on there. Another approach is a lot of trial and error. I think nobody comes up with the perfect package and the perfect niche on their first attempt. So this is something that you will need to do continuously and work on continuously. You start off with a package, and then you kind of see what the feedback is from the market. Are people reacting to it? Are people booking it? Are restaurants like saying, well, 25 dishes is way too little, or it's way too much, and asking for like 100 dishes, or maybe they're asking for only 5 dishes. You'll kind of gather information as you keep working in this profession, and you will iterate and craft your packages to make them better and better and make them a better fit to your market as you continue working. Another approach, one that I really like, is to basically go out and kind of copy successful other photographers. So kind of see what other photographers in your niche or in the niche that you are wanting to work in are doing already. Because if they are selling those offers and are being successful, then chances are you can sell those offers as well, because there is already an established demand for this type of photography, for this type of offer. At this step, don't try to reinvent the wheel and come up with something like super obscure. Businesses need business photos, restaurants need food photos, people who are getting married need wedding photos. You kind of get the idea. Like, look for things that are already working and are already established as a photography service. As a kind of helpful rule of thumb that you could remember is that the best clients will be those kind of clients who have bigger budgets to spend, and will be typically people or businesses or entities that need to be selling something by using the photos that you will be taking of them. So entrepreneurs are selling obviously their business services and using those personal branding pictures to like advertise themselves. E-commerce businesses will be using the photos to sell their products, and real estate agents will be using the photos to sell real estate. And obviously the bigger kind of the thing that they're selling, the bigger the budgets will be to take good photos. I personally do a lot of portrait work for business clients and entrepreneurs, and one tool that has made my life 10 times easier is PicDrop. PicDrop is an online gallery tool that lets me send beautiful aesthetic galleries to my clients and downloads and unnecessarily wasted time while in the process of getting those selections from my clients. Is that really necessary? Why don't you just send them small files? Because having an online gallery tool just makes my job and their selection process so much smoother, so much easier. And also it shows off my work in the best possible light, because it's in a beautiful gallery where they can just scroll through. They can use different colored flags to select their favorite images. They can write notes, they can scribble on the photos and show me what needs to be edited. And everything can be done online, and no need to have like some big files saved on your computer. Sheesh. That sounds like an expensive software tool. Actually, there is a basic free version that you can just use forever if you choose to. But if you click my link in the description below, you can use the pro version for 2 entire months completely for free and test out all the professional features, all the collaborative features of PickDrop and see how you like it and if you want to continue with that service. All right. I have been and continue to be a paying user of PickDrop myself for years now, and I love and appreciate the software so much. So I'm particularly happy and proud that they continue to sponsor these videos and support the channel. So thank you to PickDrop for sponsoring this segment of the video. All right, moving on to step number 2, and that is creating a list of leads. So once you have crafted your offer and you know exactly what you will be selling, the next step is to create a list of leads. Now, how do you actually do that? I'm going to give you a very simple approach that is completely foolproof and that in my experience, all the businesses, most of the businesses out there, if you break it down, use this exact same approach to actually finding clients. And regardless of what business they are in and what they're selling, this approach basically works for everybody. So you are going to create a simple Excel spreadsheet on your computer, and you're going to have the following columns on your Excel spreadsheet. Column 1, prospect name. Column 2, contact. Column 2, contacted on date, ... Column 4, outcome. Column 5, follow-up date, and column 6, outcome. So once you have your Excel spreadsheet, you are going to come up with 20 to 50 prospect names that you're going to fill in to the Excel sheet, and you're going to fill in their names and their contact information. And I'm going to give you 4 approaches of how you can actually come up with those names. So approach number 1 is people who you know personally. That could be family, relatives, friends of friends, people who are basically kind of close to you and that you know personally, who could be fitting your target group and could be interested in what you're selling. It could also be colleagues and business acquaintances, obviously. Okay, approach number 2. Approach number 2 is going to be people who you search up on Instagram or LinkedIn. So basically, you dive in and you do your research and see what type of entrepreneurs, businesses, people are out there who could be interested in what you have to offer. Approach number 3 is business contacts. So if you have been working in any type of business in the past, or you have family members, friends, colleagues who have been working in any type of business in the past, then you will be starting with these type of business contact, and usually a great platform for that will be LinkedIn. And approach number 4 is businesses or people who you search up on Google. So there's nothing against nice, easy, and old school Google search. So let's say you're targeting restaurants, you'll be looking for restaurants in your area. Let's say you're targeting real estate, you will be looking up for real estate companies and agents in your area. So just Google and then maybe follow up and see their contact on LinkedIn or on other social media platforms. Maybe you can even find out their email addresses. There's programs for that as well. So just continue to fill up those names and fill up the list with the contacts. And remember, depending on what level of experience you are and like how many clients you already have, you will be repeating this process of filling up your Google Sheet and then contacting those people in the next step every single day or every single week, multiple times a week, or bi-weekly. So this is a step, an iterative step. So it's not a final list that you're creating. It's a list that you start off with and then you do another 20 the next day or the next week. So this way of finding leads becomes your daily bread and butter, the core of your business, something that you practice and that becomes just part of your work. And it becomes part of your job as a photographer. And I think this is the part that a lot of people kind of forget about or never learn about, but that is what the job is. Not taking pictures, not being out there being creative, but actually finding clients is a core component of your job. All right, before I move on to step number 3, if you are liking this type of content, this type of video, and you want to support the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a little like so I know I should make more content just like this one for you in the future. Thank you so much. So you have your offer and you have your list of leads. And now it's time for step 3, and that is making sales. So you have your 20 to 50 prospects on your list or your leads, and you have some kind of way to contact them. That could be their phone number, email address, or some kind of inbox, let's say on LinkedIn or on Instagram. You can send them a DM. So your next step is going to be to learn how to sell to those clients, to sell to those prospects, to those leads. I could make an entirely separate video on sales alone because this topic is so big. So do let me know in the comments below if that's something you might be interested in the future. But let me now give you like some of my most valuable lessons in a condensed format that I have previously like received and implemented into my own sales processes. And basically there's 3 kind of rules that I want to give you that will help you out tremendously when trying to pitch or make sales, no matter if it's for your photography business or in any other area in life. These 3 things will help you to sell. So rule number 1, the best sales don't feel like sales at all, but they feel like a free consultation that somebody is getting. So ask questions, try to figure out what it actually is that they want, that they need, that they struggle with, their problems, and then present your service, your package, your offer as the solution to their struggles and problems. And of course, only offer that solution if you genuinely think it fits their problem. If you can already tell that it will be a complete mismatch for them to spend $10,000 on like 5 shooting days, but they actually just want to have a couple nice food photography photos and one day would be entirely enough. Like, don't pitch them something that is not a solution to their problem. So rule number 2 is the best kind of sales calls are when your prospect or lead is talking a lot. They're doing most of the talking and you are doing a lot of the listening and then prompting them with questions to share more. Rule number 3 is be detached from the outcome. Basically, sales become like icky and cringe and uncomfortable and something that we associate like pesky, annoying people on the street or like knocking on doors or trying to sell you something. Like, don't be that person. Sales are better when it is a conversation and a proposition that you are giving to them and they are completely free to say no to you, and that's okay. So read the room when you're talking to them. Don't try to force anything down anybody's throat. Just as a rule in general in life, just don't do that. Be okay with them saying no and then move on to your next lead. So with these 3 rules in mind, go down your entire list of your 20 to 50 leads and make a little pitch to them, whether that's by a phone call, email, DM, whatever is the best way for you. And make it short, make it sweet, make it clear what you are offering. Maybe attach a PDF portfolio or a link to your online portfolio, and maybe offer them something like a 20-minute free consultation where you can follow up and call with them and see how you can maybe collaborate on a shoot together. So I had to take a little break and the sun has set and we're working in the dark now. So artificial light it is. I hope you don't mind. But we are cracking on and we are on step number 4, and that is showing your work and creating better lead flow. So you have been doing steps 1, 2, and 3 for a couple of weeks, and you have been creating some client work if you are a beginner photographer, or if you're already a working photographer, you obviously have some client work in your portfolio already. So then in step number 4, you will be moving on to the next crucial step, which is finding a way to show your work on social media, online, to create visibility for yourself, but also to create a better lead flow for yourself. Actually, one of the biggest problems that businesses have to solve, and every freelancer has to solve, every photographer obviously has to solve, is one core problem. And it should be at the top of the list of their priorities, and that is nobody actually knows who you are. So I feel like a lot of photographers think that they're not getting enough work, not getting enough clients because the quality of their work is subpar, not really good enough. When in fact, they have a completely different problem, and that is that not enough people know you exist and not enough people know what you're offering, what type of work you do. Or remember also step 1, people don't know what you're actually selling. So in this step, you'll be working on solving the problem that nobody knows who you are by creating content. And content can be posts like text posts, combined images and text posts, reels, videos, shorts, depending on the social media platform that you decide to use. Different formats work better or worse for specific niches. But the crucial point to understand is there is basically no way around this anymore if you want to be a successful photography business, if you want to get continuous clients over time and not have to worry about whether you're going to get booked or not. And actually, this is where I see a lot of photographers kind of go wrong and get the wrong idea, or simply not use social media effectively to their advantage. Because the goal of creating content, and I don't mean like if you're just doing it for fun, but if you're doing content related to your business endeavors, the goal is not to show off pictures. I mean, I'm speaking to photographers here. The goal is not to show off pictures that you find like aesthetic and cool and like you're really proud of that particular like landscape shot that you did. The goal in creating this type of content is that you can show the people out there who are consuming the social media what type of work you could be creating for them if they booked you, if they decided to pay you for a job. The goal is also to kind of show what type of person you are and what people can expect from you in terms of your personality or your approach if they decide to book you and work with you. And the goal is also to show how you work, your approach, and what type of work you do, and build a relationship with your audience over time. Because the result that you are going for is that people who consume your content start thinking about, oh, maybe I want to work with this person in the future. Oh, maybe if I have a shoot coming up, then I'll keep this person in mind because I really would love to work with them. This person seems professional. This person seems trustworthy. They seem nice. We would have like a fun time working together. This is the type of content that you need to be creating, that people get that idea of you. Basically, you are converting them from strangers to people who feel like they might know you a little bit and might want to work with you. And here's a really important point when you are just starting out to use social media in that way. It is really important that you pick one channel in the beginning. You dedicate yourself to choosing one channel, not multiple, just one, and you start understanding that channel and creating content to fit that channel perfectly. So if you are doing business shoots and you're dealing with businesses, or let's say e-commerce, let's say you do product, let's say you do real estate, I think one of the strongest channels and still underused, undervalued channels is LinkedIn. I have an entire video on LinkedIn. Go check that out. And I think that's a very strong channel for that. If you are more dealing with like private clients, private customers, so people who book you for the events, like birthdays or weddings, engagements, all that kind of jazz, Instagram is a very strong channel. Of course, for e-commerce and small businesses, e-commerce type stuff, Instagram can also be a strong channel. I'm sure there's specific niches and demographics you can reach perfectly on TikTok. I'm not an expert on TikTok. I have a TikTok channel. You go check it out. I'll link it down below, but I'm still kind of new to it and not using it very often. So the most important point is to pick a channel that's appropriate for the niche and the type of work that you want to do, and where your target group, your demographic basically tends to hang out and the type of content they tend to consume. So once you pick the channel, you're going to start to build that muscle. And social media really works if you are regular, right? If you do it like maybe once a day or at least a couple times per week, I would say for most channels, and you do it consistently over time, week after week, month after month. It is really something that is going to grow slowly, and you're going to see what type of posts or reels, what type of content is really going to perform well. And perform well is not in terms of like likes or views and stuff don't really matter to you as a business. Of course, it's nice to get some exposure and see the content spread a little bit. It's always like, it's how these social media platforms kind of reward you, right? But we are looking, as a business, we're looking for different types of metrics. And that is people who actually start reaching out to you and requesting to get a consultation call, or for maybe for a shoot that they might want to plan. Or they might ask you some questions because they're thinking of hiring a photographer and they're not sure about some stuff. So those kind of leads and messages coming in is really the metric that we are looking for. And it doesn't really matter whether you have like 100,000 followers. You don't really need that. A couple thousand followers on any type of platform, of the right followers who might be interested in booking you in the future, who are stakeholders, businesses, those type of people, is much more valuable than having like 100,000 random people who are just following you but not engaging with your content and not actually interested in what you are doing or offering. So if you do this step correctly and you keep at it, then things will start rolling. The stone will start rolling. Things will start to happen and people will start to get in touch with you and to contact you. And this will make your life so much easier when it comes to building your list from step number 2. Because those people who are contacting you, you'll collect them and put them in your list as people that you can approach and pitch to once that contact is actually established from their side. And with these type of leads, you will have a massive advantage because you will have already built part of that trust, because these people have been following you, consuming your content. They kind of know already your portfolio or the type of offer even that you have. And so your job to pitch them that offer will just be made so much more easy, because essentially they're not cold leads anymore, but what we would consider warm leads. So once you have gone through all the steps 1 through 4, then you will begin the cycle again, and you will basically rinse and repeat and build up your muscle for every single step. Because obviously, like, going through these steps every week, every day, every month, whatever your level is, and like how much time and effort you want to dedicate to this process and how desperate you are to get clients, basically, you will get better at each of the steps, and you will adjust to make it your own system and maybe find new creative ways outside of the ones that I named you to find leads. And basically, once it starts rolling, it's going to be like a flywheel, and it's going to keep turning and churning out new leads, new customers for you every single month, as long as you keep repeating the system and just make it part of your day, make it part of your routine, make it part of your job and who you are, and just understand that this is an integral and fundamental part of running any kind of business, including a photography business. If you've liked this video, leave me a little comment down below, subscribe to the channel. I'll speak to you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.